Manawa mai te mauri noku, manawa mai te mauri rangi, ko te mauri keo, he mauri te pua, ka pakaru mai te pō, tau mai te mauri, humie, huie, taiki e. To begin with, I pay acknowledgement and homage to Ngāti Whātua, who are mana whenua of the area of Rangi Matarau. Rangi Māori is the pāhara keke here, or Wairaka is the maunga, and Te Waiunuroa is the river that flows in front of Te Noho ko Tahitanga, which is our marae, to work and stay together is the translation. This is the honouring of the whenua, in which is of the protocol for Māori here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So that is our introduction, and ko whale lima savai tōku mama, ko tōku Cardiff Wells, tōku papa, ko Rose Penn, tōku ingoa.
Ko Lata, te Whenua, ko India, tōku iwi.
Ko Aitutaki, ko Samoa, te iwi.
Me te nākau mahaki, ka tau I raro I te whakaro kotahi, hei o ranga mō tātou katoa, humi e, hui e, taiki e. Through embracing our rightful responsibilities, rangatiratanga, and accepting the rights of each other, whakaretenga, through the duty we have to care for those things that we hold as precious, kaitiakitanga, in the spirit of cooperation, ko tahitanga, with respect and good-heartedness, te ngākau mahaki, and to be united in these goals, we will be sustained. Let us work together to achieve this.
Our presentation today is about our narratives of teaching and learning in a multilingual and multicultural context of teaching and learning. And we draw upon the principles of Kotahitanga that we shared in our Karakia just now. Te Noho Kotahitanga is a partnership document and is an expression of our organization Unitec's commitment to the treaty. We draw on these principles that guide us and legitimizes our space here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. New Zealand is a bicultural nation, and the treaty and its principles guide us in our teaching and learning to stand tall in our own values and also see how our values compare with the values of the treaty. We have, in our research project, used a qualitative narrative approach because this gives us an opportunity to share our values and experiences of teaching and learning. I would like to talk about the principle of respect, or nako mahaki, or samman as it is called in my language. I believe that respect is very important to build a relationship with my students and the community, as respect leads to relationship. And even if you see in the Indian context, namaste or folded hands is a mark of respect to divinity in others. I respect what my students bring to the classroom. And it's not just about banking education or thrusting my ideas on my students. It's about respecting and giving space to the students to explore and engage in this climate of change and be in harmony with our senses. I would like to now just refer to Rabindranath Tagore's philosophy. He was an educationist, philosopher, a scientist, and a Nobel Prize laureate. According to him, the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. So, teaching and learning is, for me, all about respect and holistic development. And also Tifariki, our curriculum, ECE curriculum document, acknowledges the strength-based approach and acknowledges the divinity in our students and our community. I'd like to now invite Yvonne to share her views.
The Treaty of Waitangi refers to the partnership between the Crown and Indigenous Maori in Aotearoa, New Zealand. The Te Noho Kotahitanga Principles also refers to key principles in partnership between Unitec and the Indigenous peoples of Aotearoa, New Zealand. The principle I've chosen to speak to is wakaritenga. This principle resonates with my developing philosophy of teaching and learning in the academy. My understanding of this principle embraces an inclusive worldview that has a rights-based approach, welcoming and encouraging all students to be present, to have the courage to speak, to be heard, to contribute, to question. This is enacted through the creation of safe spaces where the voices of the individual and the collective, their opinions are validated, expressed without fear of reprisal or challenging of the manner of each student. Another aspect is recognition of the self or many selves that teaches. So who are you in this space? As we examine ourselves and the complexities and beauty that make us who we are, the honouring and respecting of ancestral knowledges and ways of being and living is represented and live in our study. Reflections are crucial to mindful, purposeful, and meaningful understandings of the personal alongside the professional. A Samoan perspective, referred to by academic Melania Nye, refers to the concept of the va, whelawai, that is the space of social relatedness between people, teacher and student, as seen in the concept of tuakana teina. Therefore, we believe in first encounter as a precedent for relationships of connectedness, whanaungatanga that empower and enable flourishing of the human spirit, the Wairoa, in the home, in the class, in the academy, and in the world. I would like to now introduce Rose to speak.
Whawhitai lava, Yvonne. Ko Papatuanuku ahau. I am the child of Mother Earth. This is a way of introducing myself when we give our pepeha, which is a Maori concept of how we let others know or share of our ancestral lineage. It speaks to my my upbringing or my parents as my first teachers. Both of my parents were avid gardeners and helped me to understand the connections of what it means to care for and be cared of the land. In the Maori language, kaitiakitanga is a Maori concept that is the action of nurturing and caring in all areas of life. It's not just something that's specific to taking care of the earth. You are a kaitiaki either of the sea or a kaitiaki of a house, or perhaps a kaitiaki of people. This is also found in my teaching practice, where in one class I teach the content and curriculum paper, of which I try to use the Maori principle of kaitiakitanga, where students will choose a karakia or a prayer that is befitting to the content that's being taught for the day. We would do this in the outside environment, of which we are fortunate enough to be part of a heritage site, a sacred heritage site, which is Te Wai Unuroa or Wairaka, which is the long thirst of Wairaka. And this is an aquifer that surfaces in 3 places at our place where our institution is located in Mount Albert, Auckland. And the benefits I feel that our students receive in having this third environment, by teaching them the concept of when you acknowledge the whenua or the land of where you are speaking of, or that you are entering into, you will get a response from the land. And this is what Yvonne has spoken about is the wairua. This means waters of two waters that flow within us, and these waters refer to the emotional life and also the of divinity, of which all of us have as humans. My work is largely inspired by our ex-head of state. His name is Te Poa Tamasese, and he speaks of the 4 harmonies of living a well-balanced life for humanity. His many publishings include Silsil Le Manongi, In Search of Fragrance, In Search of Harmony. And inside of here, he speaks of the harmonies of, first, there is harmony with the cosmos, harmony with the environment, harmony with oneself and fellow men, of which Yvonne has touched on, harmony with oneself, and inside of this harmony with oneself, from the Samoan concepts of the body is the tino, the mind is the mawhauwhau, and these 2 are governed by the anga or the soul. And it's through these deep connections with these 3 that that we are proposing that this is what gives life-giving experiences of using the senses, where the heart is connected to our students' learning, which provide mana-enhancing practices, of which we can, which are tangible, I think, when the soul is ignited. In summary of our kōrero today, we have offered our Indian, our Aitutaki and Samoan concepts that shape our pedagogies. And to recap, Lata has spoken of Saman, which is the inviting and acknowledgement of divinity in self and others. Yvonne has spoken of relationships based on the wā, and in Te Ao Māori of whanaungatanga. And I have offered my concept of kaitiakitanga, the need for us to connect according to the 4 harmonies, and what this looks like in our context in Aotearoa. these vibrations and frequencies we give to you in light and love from us here in Aotearoa. So to conclude our kōrero today, in accordance with Maori protocol, our waiata, or our song, is Ko Wairaka Tenei, speaks of the chiefess Wairaka from Matata, and this is the land where our institute is located.
Together we sing. Ko Wairaka Tenei, Ko Wairaka Tenei, Ko Wairaka Tenei, ka ora e, o mai toringa, o mai toringa, o mai toringa, ka ora e, ma te aroha, ma te aroha, ma te aroha, ka ora e. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.